We now interrupt regular scheduled programming to bring you this special sports presentation.
Carl Albert, Midwest City, and Dell City. When high school football is talked about in the state of Oklahoma, it usually doesn't take long for the Titans, Bombers, and Eagles to be mentioned among the very best. A happy Saturday good morning as we welcome you to the Middale High School Football Wrap-Up on your high school sports Saturday morning leader, 1340 The Game. Every show in this special 13-week series is made possible by Physical Therapy Central, providing sideline help and beyond for Middale sports. By the Hudeberg Auto Group, a Middale athletics friend for decades. And by Rose State College, the next step for you after your Middale experience. Now to find out what happened under those Friday night lights, let's join your hosts, Middale Athletic Director Andy Collier, PC Athletic Director Dick Valanciefen, and longtime Hall of Fame sportscaster John Brooks.
Good morning, everybody. I always love about this time of the year when you got a series like this. Dick and I remember it from the Metro PC show that follows this one because it was on last year for the first time. We remembered when we got to the 10th week, we suddenly looked up and we said, wait a minute. We haven't done these many shows. The season isn't already over. The regular season not over. Please tell me it's not over. So, Andy, I'll let you tell us that it is over.
It is. It went quick, but it's been a great 10 weeks. 11 weeks, I guess, because of week 0.
Exactly.
But it's been fun. Yeah. It really has.
Yeah. Today, we're going to take a look at hey, by the way, we have a new waiter here in our studio, which is pretty cool. You know, we have our own drinks brought to us and everything. It's really neat. And we're going to talk with that waiter later in the show. By the way, why don't we just preview who we've got after our break, because we have Super 30 number 2 live in the studio.
Nigel Thomas. He's a Dell City football player, basketball player, track player. It doesn't matter. He can do it.
Yeah.
And he's good at
everything. And he's got the rings to show it,
he
right?
Does. That's
exactly.
Right.
We'll be visiting with him here at the midway mark of today's Middale football wrap-up. Well, guys, let's get to the scoreboard. And always we'd like to start with you, obviously, in 5A. Now, there were a lot of games that were scheduled for Friday that ended up being pushed to Thursday. So the Thursday schedule is unbelievable. When I go over the scoreboard, I'm not going to give everybody the date of the game, okay? We'll be bouncing around crazy. But anyway, Carl Albert was scheduled on Friday. They did play on Thursday. They win at Piedmont 38-21.
Yeah, very good game. It was a kind of a quick game because Piedmont runs the ball so much, but Carl Albert did everything they're supposed to. They continue to get better and better each and every week, and offensively they're really clicking.
Dell City 45-7 over Durant.
Dell City just way better than Durant.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But it's a long trip, and I hated that for the kids to have to go that far on a Thursday night to get back.
I took the trip last week. Thank you.
It's
from
a long
OBU
way.
in Southeastern State. Exactly. It's a lot longer trip when you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard. I can tell you that. So the Dell City guys, the Dell City guys trip was not nearly as long as my trip coming back. Just so you know. All right. Okay. So that was Thursday's action. Now we get to the all-time thriller last night, and I'm keeping up with this game, and then I get this text, Dick, from Andy. 11 seconds to go, Midwest City scores. They went 23-21. Tell us about it.
First half, Elgin really controlled the ball. They run the ball very well. I was very impressed with Elgin. I'm impressed with the atmosphere, everything that they've done this year.
Yeah, you're on the road. And remember last week, Dick,
remember
we talked about it?
We thought about that.
And your wife's from Elgin, which, of course, added some more mystique.
Right, there you go.
Right, exactly.
It was but it was a great atmosphere. District championship. Elgin controlled the ball the first half. Midwest City did a better job second half stopping the run. But it got down to a situation where Elgin had two big plays with about 2 minutes to go and went 77 yards and put them up 21-17.
Midwest City gets the ball with 2 minutes to play?
Less than 2 minutes.
Less than 2 minutes.
Midwest City has to go 80 yards, with about a minute 22 left. DJ, a kid that we've had and talk about constantly.
We're talking about DJ Irvin.
DJ Irvin. He hits a couple strikes, moves the ball down, and they get down to the 12-yard line, had a holding penalty, moved them back, and the next play with about 11 seconds left, another one of our guests, William Broyles, gets open on a post route, and DJ hits him in the end zone, and I think I was the idiot in the end zone celebrating on TV.
That's awesome. I'm sure it was a good view. I'd love to.
You were on TV celebrating?
I think I looked like an idiot, John.
You did? You went crazy?
But I was happy.
Hey, he's an old bomber. He has to go crazy.
That's bomber magic. I mean, it happens.
District AD, he's there. Hey, I wanted to step in, and I was going to say, with 2 minutes to go, DJ had to make a difference. And I thought it would be more with his feet. But we need to be fair to athletes and student athletes and players and coaches when they improve and do things right. DJ has greatly improved his passing game. He was not that good a thrower early in his career, but to be fair, 3 strikes in the last 2 minutes, that's pretty nice.
Well, Dick, here's the deal, and I think we see that with people like Jalen Hurts. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying DJ has learned to stay in the pocket and throw the football instead of just looking one way if it's not open, taking off and running, and it's really helped his throwing ability.
That's great. Well, he's quite the athlete and quite an outstanding young man.
All right, listen. So who we have sitting here with us, Dick, is the athletic director of a school district that has only been able to squeak in 2 district champions and a district runner-up on points. And let us clarify, because Del City, that was a 3-way tie for second, and they ended up winning the on points, right?
Right. So when you have a tie, it usually goes to the head up who wins. But this one was a 3-way tie.
But on that triple, everybody beating everybody else. Yeah.
And Del City point-wise moved up to second.
Yeah. Okay. So Del City gets the 2 spot in the playoffs. What we're going to do is you already filled out your playoff bracket, right?
Just the first round.
He's not doing the NCAA picks and stuff like that.
I'm sitting across from a guy that's got to play another team of mine, possibly
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks,
so you're not revealing anything in front of our guests later tonight.
I can tell you about Midwest City's bracket, though.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I might as well just pick them all the way to the finals.
You're taking them
Can Midwest City make the finals?
Here's the deal. Anytime you got DJ,
I told you. I think I told you that.
It's tough.
I said that at the end of week 3, didn't I?
You're always going to be right on this. Darrell Hall has done an unbelievable job this year, starting off 1-2, and then just rattling off the rest of the games. And you told it. You called it.
No, he did early on. You did on the 4th show, and the good thing about it is, Andy, we have not forgotten that he called it because every week when Midwest City wins, Dick escalates the story a little bit more.
But I'm so proud of Darrell Hall and his staff as well as those kids for just keeping their head up and keeping on fighting.
I really think that Coach Hall and his staff made a great decision. They changed the offense this year from last year, and they utilized the athletic skill of DJ, spread him out. And they're a much better team, I believe, now than they were weeks 1 and 2.
No doubt. They've improved.
Hey, while we're on that point, let's just take it a step. So is Del City a better team than they were a year ago?
Yes. And here's the reason why. And we're sitting across from a guy that's got several receiving touchdowns. Del City throughout history, and I grew up in the district, so I know this. Del City throughout history has always been very strong on defense and running the ball. One thing they're doing this year that they've never been able to do is have a kicker that's consistent and throw the football. That is the biggest difference with them. I think that the quarterback, Godwin's got 28 touchdowns, which is breaking records at Del City. They've never had that type of ability at Del City. So, yes, they're improving every week on both sides of the ball.
Well, I think it's safe to say Carl Albert has – well, first of all, Carl Albert improves during the – there's no school in your district or any school in the greater metro area that has ever had a consistent record of 2 decades of absolutely improving game by game. Everybody says, oh, well, we improve game by game. Well, sometimes you improve game by game, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes people are blowing smoke, but the record is set. Carl Albert has the greatest consistency of improving from the first of the year to the end of the year of any school, probably any place. Am I right?
I compare him to Bixby the way Bixby's improved. Bixby has the big long run. We'll get to that later, but the streak. But if you look at Carl Albert, I mean, there's years they started 1-2, 0-3, and go win the state championship. Andy, am I correct? Have they done that before?
They've done 0-4.
Oh, they were 0-4. Either I think it was 3 years ago, wasn't it? They were 0-4 out of the gate and won the state championship.
And here's the one thing that they do, and they've always built this in, is they consistently get better, but they treat it like a horse race. And I've said this, when they come out of the gate, they just want to be in good position. They want to get better each and every week. They know when to turn it loose. They know when to implement stuff, and they always think the playoffs is the true season. So it's just a different mentality, but they get better every week too.
Can we go to the scoreboard now?
Let's do it.
And then we're going to come back and look at the at your playoffs. But let's go to the scoreboard because Dick said something about Bixby and a record, but that record ended. The shocker of the weekend, without question. Our guest is shaking his head also, so don't worry. He's not alone. Everybody else is. Here's Bixby averaging 63, I think it was, per game, giving up 8.7 per game. And Jenks beats them 38-35. I don't know all the details, but when you see 38-35, you know it was a classic.
Well, 2 points from that. It was a great night for Oklahoma high school football. It was on ESPN2. Great crowd, 2 good football teams, well coached. The second point is Bixby gets them in 3 more weeks. I'm sorry, Jenks.
I'm like you. I'm already going to go on record and say this. I had the privilege to watch as I was watching the Putnam West Booker T game. I was watching on some friends' telephone. We were in the press box watching.
Well, this is exciting to know where you were watching.
I thought I'd let you know that, John.
Thank
I thought
you.
that's important.
Good. Okay.
But anyway, Bixby did not play well in the first half. They made some uncharacteristic mistakes. Jenks is, I believe, fully healthy. I think they had some players hurt early in the year. But in the second half, Jenks had a big lead, and Bixby came storming back. And I just have a feeling.
So was that hang on at the end?
It was a hang on. They had to hang on to an onside kick with about 50 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And I just think, like Andy, I don't know.
I mean, it sets up a
Andy,
semifinal, and
I think
I
Bixby's
just
gonna
don't
get
think
them.
that Jenks can do it twice.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. But they did end a 59-game winning streak, and nobody will ever be able to take that one away. Can I run the rest of the scoreboard quickly?
Let's do it.
Jump in here if you think there's anything you want to talk about. In 6A, Mustang 58-35 over Edmond Memorial. Owasso 24-14 over Norman. Edmond Santa Fe. Let's see. How much would we have lost had we bet that Edmond Santa Fe would win a game? Huh? We would have lost because poor Edmond Santa Fe went 0-10. It's the all-time shaker of the year, isn't it?
That's crazy.
It's a shaker. It's unbelievable.
They played the state,
now, they lost 2 heartbreakers. They
played
lose
the
to
state
UConn
championship
21-0.
2 years ago.
No, wait a minute, guys. Squirtle had that wrong? Did they lost every game? Squirtle had it the other way. Squirtle had.
Edmond Santa Fe lost every game.
Okay.
Yeah, 21-0 UConn.
Wow.
Broken Arrow 63, Moore 48. Westmore and Southmore, tough year for Southmore. Westmore 28-0. 6A2, Deer Creek 69, Putnam North 0. I'll say that quickly for our friend here to the right, Andy. Okay. And Putnam City West loses to Tulsa, Washington 40-6. Putnam City wins as expected 38-6. I think Putnam City finished 4-6. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. 6A2, Choctaw. Number 1 in 6A2, 42-13 at home over Ponca City. That easy stretch for Ponca City into there, that was not surprising. All right, how about it? Stillwater 38, Muskogee 21. I kind of saved it because that was the Oklahoma's number 2 game of the week.
When I watched that game, a lot of it was 14-14 at halftime. Of course, I've seen Muskogee in person at Carl Albert. That came down to the wire. I know how good that quarterback is and them. I'm picking that to probably be a rematch in the state finals. That's what I'm
Stillwater and Muskogee?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
2 really good football teams.
Stillwater ends up 10-0, and Muskogee ends up 9-1. Yeah, you would think just for everything.
Choctaw Muskogee will be a great semifinal game. The quarterback Muskogee's really good.
Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of formats, do you want to give it real quick before we take a break and we get to Nigel? You want the 5A bracket?
Yeah, let's do it. Midwest City's going to open up next week at home versus Piedmont. 1 versus 4 will be a really good game. It's all about matchups this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need to do the crossovers.
No. But I will just go through ours. Carl Albert will host Lawton MacArthur at home, and then Dell City will host Bishop Kelly. All three of those games are really good matchups, so we're going to have to play. We're going to have to get better this week, but I see us all having a good chance of moving on.
All right, so you are projecting, and I know you're not going to advance it all the way, but you're projecting the 3 Mid-Dell schools to get into the next round.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a –
I think Midwest City's got a tough matchup just because they run the ball – Piedmont runs the ball right at you. In Midwest City, that's kind of been something that they've struggled with. But I do believe athletically – at the end of the day, Midwest City will have more big plays.
Has Coach Hall put Coach Dunn's son on defense any? I think they've talked about that. Is that a potential? Because he's a big dude.
I think you'll see some of that next week to help stop that or slow that running game down.
Okay. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're back in just a moment. This is the Mid-Dell Football Wrap-Up.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results to keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond. Contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist. Physical Therapy Central, a proud sponsor of Mid-Dell Athletics and trusted choice for keeping athletes and fans in the game.
Get the vehicle you're looking for and make it your own at Oklahoma's own Hudeberg. It's easy to shop for a new Chevy truck or SUV at Hudeberg Chevy, where we say, don't settle. If we don't have what you want in stock today, we'll order it on the spot. All with quick delivery and amazing incentives, like 0% financing. Shop HudebergGM.com today.
You can count on Hudeberg, we'll give you more.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Blasted. The deal shows Edmond Santa Fe beating UConn on the SSA website. I think we're backwards on that, John.
Okay. We're back. Do you want to just take the show over, Dick?
Absolutely.
You can take it over if you want to. I mean, I don't need to run it if you want. Are you good?
I'm great.
Okay, good. Let's welcome aboard Nigel Thomas, okay? Yeah, do the tap dance here. Hey, before we do the tap dance for Nigel, just so everybody knows, we're talking about the playoffs, and for 5A, Saturday, December 3rd, 1 o'clock tip-off at UCO will be the championship game. 6A2 is 1 o'clock on Friday, December 2nd, and 6A1, 7 o'clock on Friday, December 2nd. Okay, all right. Here he is. He's been sitting here listening for the entire show. He's shaking his head every time you say anything about Midwest City and Carl Albert.
Which is the way it should be.
Okay, good. So
here's the deal. Today we've got Nigel Thomas. He's one of the top 30 players in the state. Real quick, he's a multi-sport athlete. Football, he started more football games than anybody in Dell City history. That's including Robert Calsu. That's including Lamel Foreman. I can go down the line. We got Benny Butler, all kinds of players. In track, he finished last year second in the 200, but was a state champ on the 4x4 track team, relay team. Basketball, he's been a state champ and a state runner-up. So if anybody out there thinks that individualized sports is the way to go, this guy can tell you that's not the truth. He's going to K-State to play football. Nigel Thomas.
Nigel, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you're going to talk, and here's the deal. So I read this story from Dean Rule in the Oklahoman, and you're number 22 of the Super 30. Okay. And even in the summer when he did the story, you had already committed to Kansas State. So I think, Dick, don't you think the best way to start is to say why Kansas State?
I picked Kansas State really because how they recruited me and how they actually took their time on learning who I was and what kind of player I was and, like, my life and how I am. So that's really why I chose K-State.
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir.
Was it an easy decision?
Yes, I went down there to their camp, and they offered me right after their camp. And then, like, next 2 days after that, I was like,
yeah,
I'm going to go to K-State.
That was it, huh? Yeah.
Who else recruited you?
A lot of schools. Texas Tech, OSU, Memphis, Iowa, a lot of schools.
That's good. You can stop.
Just keep on going,
yeah,
couldn't he?
Yeah, or you can keep on going, right. Exactly. All right. So, Nigel, when Andy Collier says, and he rattles off all the things, you got rings from basketball, you've got a ring from track, you're a runner-up in an individual in track, and obviously you're a big-time football player. There's not that many guys in any school that are like that. Is this something that you take a lot of pride in, or is this just been natural for you in life?
Both.
Okay.
I do take a lot of pride in it because a lot of people can't do this, and I just like playing sports, so I just do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's busy all the time, isn't he, Dick? Huh? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Right.
He does a great job. I really like the multi-sport kind of guy, too. I mean,
He's a big multi-sport guy, Dick is. Yeah. So this is good. All right. So you're a defensive back, but not just a defensive back, right? So tell us a little bit about everything that you do within the program.
Well, my 4 years I've been playing at Del City, I did play running back, defensive back, running back, wide receiver, everything really.
Okay. Are you playing both sides this year? Yeah, you were. Now, you were banged up a little bit here a couple of games ago. Was that when you were on offense or defense?
When I was on offense.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Andy, tell us a little bit about him, because you know what? You see these guys, and you've always had a kind of a great little summary for all three or our other two guests. Give us if somebody says to you, describe Kenigel Thomas, what he is as an athlete.
Well, first and foremost, he's a team player. I think you can read that article, and it states that, when practice is possibly not going the way it should be, he's the guy that steps up and tries to get everybody else motivated. So that's one thing that we're very appreciative of. But when you talk about everything else, he's a well-rounded kid, but he's also on the football field. He does everything. I mean, it's like he doesn't come off the field, and every time, it's like last week they're playing Coweta. It's done. It's over. And next thing you know, he's behind the secondary with a minute left, making a big play. He seems to always be around the ball when it's time to go.
Last year against Putnam City North, you remember that game? You guys played overtime.
Yes, sir.
Were you playing corner in that west end zone? Who intercepted that pass last play in the game? Was that you or one of your partners?
Sir, it was my guy, Sweet, number 3.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, that was a fun game to watch, but I've enjoyed watching you play, and Coach Collier and I are friends, and just really respect what you guys do on all sides of the ball. But the fact that all 4 of you guys in the secondary are on the relay team and track, I think that's outstanding. I think that shows leadership and support of what Coach Collier says about being a team guy. You're trying to help the track team. You're trying to help the basketball team. So I have a lot of respect for your actions.
I know that's a great story. That's the secondary is the.
It's the secondary that's 4x4.
The 4x4?
No, well,
3 of the 4.
Our 4x2 and our 4x1 is our DBs. Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's right. I mean, the chemistry must be unbelievable.
Well, and that's the deal. Del City is also, size-wise, and Mid-Del, we have to share athletes. We push that in every program because, we're not Bixby, we're not Jinx, we're not Union, we're not these places with a lot of kids. So these guys, in order for these programs to be special, they've all got to play different things.
Run that stat again about Kenigel, and because I'm looking here at the picture, and it was taken at Robert Calsu Field, and of course, every time I hear Robert Calsu, I get a heartbreak because he was you knew this, didn't you, Kenigel? He's the only fatality in Vietnam War who was from the NFL, the only player. Didn't have to go and went. And his story is unbelievable. So every time I see Robert Calsu Field, I get a little bit, emotional, I'll tell you. But then you said a statistic for Kenigel that involves Robert Calsu and some others, and it is again?
Kenigel Thomas has started more games at Del City than any football player to come through the program.
In history.
Yeah, and there's been big time athletes that have come through there, and this is a guy that's played more football than any of them.
All right, before we let you go, need to know this. So I'm reading this article on you from Super 30, and it says, Thomas, nicknamed K1 by his teammates, wears the number 1 jersey. It was given to him before his freshman year by former Eagles coach Mike Dunn, who wanted Thomas to be a symbol of something bigger than football. And Kenigel said, I was the first freshman to start in a long time. He wanted me to be the number 1. I'm supposed to be the symbol of the team, so that's why I wear it. Now you've gone 4 years. When you think back to that moment, what do you think?
To be honest, it kind of makes me sad because it's about to be over with. Like, football for me about to be over with. Well, high school and playing with my team. And it's just like, dang, I really didn't came far.
Nigel, you were a freshman, and your coach walks up and puts the one on you and starts talking to you about this, and you're a freshman. Now that you think back on it, are you a little surprised that he put all that pressure on you as a freshman? Because there's a little bit of pressure there. Am I right, Andy, or not?
There is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
No, because I think he felt like I was the type of person that can handle that. And these 4 years, I kind of have handled it.
You have done that.
You have. So you look forward to it every year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pretty little stuff in the spring, and then you come in. So this happens your freshman year. Out you come, at the end of your freshman year, little spring football, you're going to be a sophomore. You're bouncing around out there with the one jersey. You're in complete control now? Yeah. Did you feel like you were the CEO of the company?
Nah, because we still had Donovan Stevens and other people there, so it was a lot.
Hey, you have a guest here this morning with you. Who's the guest here watching you on the radio show?
It's my girlfriend.
Really? Well, she brought a little beauty to the studio. That's for sure. I mean, we've been overmatched here in that department, Nigel. So congratulations.
You,
right. I guess if you're K1, you can have beautiful women, right? Yeah. Good for you. I'm glad. This is good. Hey, it's been a lot of fun to have you.
Hey, real quick, can I ask one more thing?
Oh, you can ask one more because I was going to set you up for him anyway. So go.
What I want you to tell us, because you have been the leader for 4 years, you guys on the back of your jersey, it says CDEP. What does that mean?
It means commitment, effort, toughness, pride.
So wait a minute, one more time and say it real slow for us.
CDEP. Commitment, effort, pride, toughness.
Yeah, good. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate it. You were so good. You've taken us right up to the break. We got to hurry. We'll be back in 60 seconds to wrap things up on the Middale Football Wrap-Up.
In the old days in these parts of Oklahoma, there was cattle rustling. Someone would take your cattle off your property, brand it as their own, sell them, and keep the cash for themselves. Now there is a good thing, car and truck rustling, and it's happening here and now in Wellston, Oklahoma, only at Hudeberg Ford. Hudeberg Ford will park your used car or truck in our pasture, sell it for you, and you keep the cash. X marks the spot at the Hudeberg Ford brand, where I-44 meets Old Route 66 in Wellston, Oklahoma. Or click HudebergFord.com and start building your Ford your way today.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results to keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond. Contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist. Physical Therapy Central, a proud sponsor of Middale Athletics and trusted choice for keeping athletes and fans in the game.
Heading home, as always, we thank your two sponsors that made this show possible all year long as we get close to the stretch run.
Hudeberg Auto and PT Central. Thank you so much.
They are. All right. Very quickly, the format for next week and the playoffs for the Middale schools.
Midwest City will host Piedmont Friday night. Friday night, Del City will host Bishop Kelly, and Carl Albert will host Lawton Matt.
That's good. Hey, I got good news. Dr. Valenceifin, Andy Collier is joining us for the Metro PC Football Review.
That's great news.
Yeah, he's going to be on the first part of the show with us.
Should stay on more often with us. He does a great job.
Right. It'll be fun. We invite you to stay tuned because after a 1-minute Fox Sports update on 1340 The Game, we'll be presenting the Metro PC Football Review. I'm John Brooks with Dick Valenceifin and Andy Collier in studio. The world-famous producer, the Z-Man. We'll see you next week on the Middale Football Wrap-Up.
Join us again next Saturday at 8:30 right here on 1340 The Game for the Middale High School Football Wrap-Up presented by Physical Therapy Central. Looking out for all Middale athletes. By the Hudeberg Auto Group, a longtime friend to Middale Athletics. and by Rose State College, the next step after your Mid-Del experience.
Your flagship station for Oklahoma City Dodgers baseball, 1340 The Game and 1340thegame.com. KGHM Midwest City.